Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, this is the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk about movies, TV, geek stuff, news, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfucker! With Nary Signs, you know the question is not on here that I could have said yes to would have been a cock ring. I'm like, oh, I've done that. Jeff,
It was called Bibbidi Bobbidi Doorknob.
Stephanie.
The only reason he was invited was because he was dating my friend. It was like a pity invite. And he was like one of the first people to get there. What a loser.
And we have Missy
Yes, I'm here.
is also here.
Oh, Missy is also here. A girl has no last name.
Not anymore, am I right? Huh? And special correspondence with Steph Mayer Sr.
Yeah, I don't have to look cute for you.
And this is the What's Up Bro podcast.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Where's the link to tell people we're live?
Well, I'm here now. Hold on. And going live in 3, 2, go live. So this is going to be fun. This is going to... Oh, look, we're live. There you go. See?
Oh, no.
So this is new, Mike.
Oh, no.
So now not only are we going live...
House?
I'm sorry?
Look, I just got the notification. We are live.
We are live.
Yep.
Not only are we live on Facebook, but eventually we're going to go live on YouTube. Just YouTube takes forever to get that. Like they have to
The
authenticate.
approval.
They have to authenticate and approve. I'm like, They ask you, do you want to go live? And you go, yeah, sure. And they're like, well, we'll let you know when you go live. And you go, what the fuck? And then I'll be able to take this and then put it in on Instagram as if we were going on Instagram live, but already recorded. It's weird. It's a thing. Anyways, welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast, the first podcast that we're live. We're on live. If you're on our Facebook group, you could watch us do a live episode, and then we will recast this episode as a podcast later on when I get the audio. That's it. This is how it is. Mike is so confused. I'm sorry to spring this on you, Mike. I was on vacation this past week.
I will tell you. No. I just shared it on Facebook. I have 2 monitors now, so I can look all the way from over here to over here and still be seeing screen. I've jumped forward to the early 2000s. I am on the cutting.
You are on the cusp. You're on the cusp of technology for the 21st century, but we're 20 years into the 21st century.
I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Maybe we'll just do it.
Oh my god. Anyway, so it's been like a month, I guess, since we've done a WuBro, and I went on vacation. Mike went hiking. Right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Did you go hiking? Was that a hike? Was that a forest thing?
You went camping.
Camping.
It was
That's it.
backpack. I went on a backpacking trip.
Backpack
it was
through
a
Europe. No,
failure.
not really.
It was a failure.
It was a learning
really.
experience, Michael.
It was fun. It was fun, but the temperature dropped into the 20s, and I was not prepared. And then it got dark. Everything was wet because it had rained. So I need to brush up on my firecraft skills, is what it's called.
Also, you may want to work on your skills of going through the weather app and seeing like what's gonna happen.
Well, it was that
because I feel like if you look at it and it goes, oh, it's gonna rain, pack for rain. That's a thing we can do.
No, I did. I did pack for rain. I was fine. That's the thing. I was gonna go either way. It's just that I could not get the proper firewood going. Like to start a fire with wet wood is like a hard thing. Even experienced. Are we 12? Okay. It's like, all right.
What you said? You said you start a fire with hardwood. That's
yeah. No, it's not hard. It was wet.
Oh, so you had wet wood. Wet wood. And you act like you're just meeting us for the first time now. Like you act like that should make you giggle. Yes, it should, Mike. You fucking know us. Yes,
We're
it should.
now.
Yeah.
We're going live now, and I'm adapted to this
What does that
new
mean?
paradigm. And what it means is that I am now above all of this. This is my new live personality. Excuse me, guys.
Oh, you're gonna Ted Mosby your way through this shit, really?
No, man, I don't know what the fuck. But genuinely, like, it was hard to. I mean, thank God I had good gear. It really was. The problem was that I couldn't stay out there long enough because it was in the 20s, and since it had rained, it was very humid, and then the things were going to start to ice over. And it was. Thank God I had my tent up, and I had my little stove that I had packed, like to like heat up water and all that stuff. But then I had to walk my ass like 100 yards away and hang my food in a tree because of bears. There's also bears. So the whole thing was that I had to do it at this time. I even delayed it a day because of the rain, but because I only had a certain number of scheduled days before I had to go back to work. And I was like, you know what, fucking, I'm just going to go have an adventure. And then after the first day, I was like, adventure over. Done. And and also the hike was a lot harder than I thought it would be.
So
was like
how long did you want to be out there?
Two nights. I was supposed to go out. It's like a loop. So you go out. There's like a spot to camp. That's the thing. I got started late, and then I never made it to the actual like camping area. So I had to like find my own spot because it got dark at like fucking 4:00 in the afternoon, and pitch black. Like if I didn't have my headlamp, I wouldn't have been able to see shit. And that was also the problem because I couldn't find wood. I knew once I got back. I went on the internet and looked up all the ways to handle your wood, and then
You're doing it on purpose. You're doing it on purpose, sir.
But I went back and I realized all of the stuff I was doing to the wood was right. Like I was doing everything right.
Hey, look.
But it was just like a hard time.
And Steph Animator Senior is on. All right. What time is it over here? It's 8, 9. It is 10 a.m. over there. 10 a.m.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah, well, I mean,
We're international, baby.
she has a newborn. I'm sure she's been up since like fucking 6, right? God knows.
She's a mom.
Ugh.
Yeah, gross. No.
Not gross.
Hey, so Mike, how many times throughout the night? How many times did you go? Can I Uber from here? Like, can I call a fucking Uber? Like, how bad did you want to get the fuck home? Like, just.
You know what? Here's the real problem. I was fine once I got in my tent. I had my sleeping bag. My gear is good for I made sure to pack for cold. I even brought extra stuff, and then my tent is great. And then I'm not an idiot. I know how to set up a tent, and I did research on like the best way, all that stuff. And then the problem is I went out there because I was like, what am I going to do? Sit on my couch and watch The Mandalorian? No, I sat in a tent and watched The Mandalorian because that's all there was. I still had cell phone service.
Well, you could have just called an Uber then, right? Couldn't you have just called an Uber?
Well, no, I'd hiked into the woods for like I don't know how many miles.
Hey, Missy, real quick.
It was already the dark time.
Yeah, but GPS, the phone knows where it's at. It's like, hey, you're here.
There's no road. What I'm saying is that there's no roads. It's like literally on the side of a mountain.
No, there's no Uber that's going to go off-roading to find Mike.
Well, I think Uber Black. Uber Black does it. Uber XL Black.
Uber Black will come get.
Hey, Missy, can you text my wife and tell her that we're live and that I can't pick up the phone? Can you do that for me?
Sure.
I know.
Dear Nary's wife.
Yeah.
He hates you. He hates your stinking guts.
She's not having a good day, so I don't think that joke is going to land today.
You make him vomit.
Yeah.
You make him vomit.
And then you can send her the link to show her what I'm doing instead of talking to her.
Hey, Nary said to lie to you.
I shared it on Facebook.
I know you did. Well, it's probably because of you. I should do the same thing, but everything is done through my phone.
Out live.
You know what? She's in North Carolina, so she can storm in and give you death eyes. I think you're taking advantage.
She's in. Yeah. So wait, you're out in the fucking woods. What happened?
I was.
He's home already.
I was just there for a week. And I have in-laws there, and so because the in-laws came down for Thanksgiving, it was our turn. It was actually our Christmas present from the in-laws was our flight to North Carolina for Christmas. So I went there a week late, and I got back a week late, meaning a week after my family was there. And then I got there. It wasn't really. Yeah, was it a week? No, it was like 4 days after my family got there, and I left on Tuesday, which today day of recording is Wednesday, and my family gets back on Friday. So that's it. Yeah, I was just out in the woods, and it was like I did nothing, and it was nice. I was preparing for cold weather, snow, and all this shit there. I still haven't had a white Christmas. I'm 39 years old. I thought this would be the year that I was going to have a white Christmas. Still haven't had that. And it wasn't cold. And my wife was telling me about how cold it is, and you're going to need a thicker jacket. And I bought this thick jacket. And because the outside wasn't windbreaker material, she was like, that jacket's not going to do you shit. And I'm like, it literally says like heavy duty, water resistant, like fucking in Sherpa, like this whole thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's not gonna be enough. If you was like a sweater, it's not gonna be enough. And I went out one time, and I used it one time, and I took it off because it was too fucking hot. I was like, I can't do this. It's too hot.
It's one of those things where like the coat that I use, my mom got it for me at Costco for $40. Like it doesn't matter. Like as long as it's good, it's good. Like you just need. Like it just needs to work, just to be in the way of the cold, but something between the cold and you. But I saw you posted like, oh, it's 28 degrees. This ain't shit. I was like, stay out there a little longer.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It really. I was out there for like, I don't know, 45 minutes. Stephanie's calling me an influencer because I have a ring.
Yes, Steph. Yes.
I have a ring light too, but it's small. So you can't really tell.
Well, that and you don't have glasses.
I don't have a ring light.
You can't. If
that's true,
it's because
just reflecting off of my eyes and making me look very influential.
Sure.
It's because of my glasses. Once I take off my glasses, I don't know. Can you guys not see me anymore? I guess you guys can't see
your
me.
video's off right now.
Well, your video's off, so no, we can't see you.
Oh, there you go.
There, now we can see.
So look, if I take off my glasses, you can't really tell I have a ring light. You can just everybody I have.
No.
Whenever I do a podcast, people go, "Man, your fucking lighting is."
Can you see us now?
I could see the shapes of you, like Ed Sheeran would say.
Yeah. Okay, Ed Sheeran.
Mike, do you have any idea how blind Mary is?
He doesn't know.
I've never seen him without glasses.
Yes, you have. I've only had glasses for a year. Like prior to that, I went like 5 years without wearing glasses. And prior to,
I remember you having glasses. You have them in your headshot.
Yes, I have them in my headshot. That was done like 6 years ago. Then after those headshots, I didn't work. No, if you actually look at my actual headshots now, I don't have glasses anymore in my headshots. And those headshots were done like 5 or 6 years ago. And then for 5 or 6 years,
here for 7.5 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was one of those things where I was like, I haven't always. This is the most boring fucking conversation. When did you stop wearing glasses? And I started wearing glasses last December, thinking like it's time to go back to glasses. I like the way I look in glasses. And then fucking Corona hit. And it was the worst decision ever because they fucking fog up wearing a mask. It's the fucking worst. And it's one of those things where the fogging of my glasses is so frustrating that like every time I go out, I have to think to myself, how badly do I want whatever the fuck is out there? Like just because I don't want to deal with the fogging of my glasses. So I have an eye doctor's appointment tomorrow to get fitted for contacts because I'm fucking done with this, Rona. You win. You fucking win.
Awful.
Run away.
Imagine getting Corona though.
Nah, I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah, imagine getting Corona though.
Imagine getting Corona and you have glasses. See? Do you see?
I do have glasses.
Wow.
Yeah. First of all, who gives a shit about any of this?
This is
genuinely.
I know. 3 people apparently. 3 fucking people.
Yeah.
I care.
No, we can't comment on.
Hey, but we can comment on is Wonder Woman 84.
I need more alcohol for this.
I have the luxury of, I had already purged myself. I was on a podcast with my friend Sarah Benincasa. It's called This Isn't Normal. And we had like a post Dub 84 like vent.
Tum tum. Tum tum.
And yeah, it's bad. Like again, man, remember? Okay, I always go back to the Fantastic Four thing with Neri. There's an episode of Mystery WuBro Theater. It existed. We watched it. We had a great time. This movie didn't like. I'm not going to say anything about like. Look, they made what they made, and I'm sure they did their best, if at all. You know, like I don't know the details, but I didn't have fun. I could not.
I don't have the details. I don't have the details.
Well, you know how like all the shit that came out afterwards with the Zack Snyder shit, and you know like all of that stuff. The with the HBO Max releasing the Snyder cut and all that stuff. You never like Warner Brothers has kind of like burnt every bridge at this point with fucking DC comic book heroes. I know you love them, but they are like overall not as beloved pop culture wise as the Marvel movies, even though like, man, I love Superman. I love Batman, you know, like they're just not like, there's something that they're doing that's missing the mark. You know, there's something that they're doing. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, too many hands in the pot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the deal is. I'm curious. This is why I'm super curious to see what happens with James Gunn and Suicide Squad, because they basically like, he's like, leave me the fuck alone, and I'm going to make a movie, and then you're going to put it out, and that's it.
Well, with the exception from all reports, as far as director wise, as far as creativity wise, from all reports, with the exception of Zack Snyder during Justice League, and that was his third time at bat. Everybody else has talked about, like James Wan with Aquaman. They said that he's like, they left me alone. I fucking had my movie and I did it with however the fuck I wanted to do. Zach is the only one that had a problem, and again, it was his third time at bat that they fucking started messing and doing with that shit. As far as
they gave him shit with Man of Steel too.
No,
they had him do something differently with Man of Steel.
No, they had him do differently as far as, I think he wanted to do a Man of Steel 2, and then he ended up doing Batman vs Superman. And I think that one they kind of meddled in the sense of they didn't want it too long, so they didn't want the 3-hour movie. They wanted a 2.5-hour movie. So that's why you have the Ultimate Edition. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. The whole point is here, because I'm not getting into that conversation. The whole point is, I just wanted to get your opinion on Wonder Woman 84. You said you didn't have fun. That sounds like an opinion. That sounds like where you're at. That's it. That's all. That's
None of it made sense to me.
So my wife and I watched the movie night of, and we are in North Carolina watching it in her parents' living room. And we watched the movie, and we are all, me, my wife, and my brother-in-law, are all taken out of the movie on multiple occasions because something looks fucking off. And we all say it, and I'm like, oh, fuck, thank God somebody else said it. My wife goes, hey, are these action sequences fucking kind of cheesy? Do they look kind of cheesy? And they go, fuck. Thank you. Like I didn't. I'm like, I thought I was the only one, and it's just like the fucking action. She looks like she's running. Like it looks like they filmed her on the green screen, and I know they did, but we're not supposed to fucking be able to tell that, right? So this whole thing, and then I'm thinking to myself, maybe they're doing like, because it's an 80s movie, quote unquote, maybe they're doing that kind of feel. So we're doing all of this and we're talking about it, and my wife was livid. She was like, this movie, I hate this fucking movie. I hate what they did to it because of the action, and it just didn't look right. It was cheesy. It felt cheesy and whatever. And I agreed with her. And then I said, it's a shame because I really enjoyed the story. Really enjoyed the acting. It's just the action sequences, which is a big part of a superhero movie. I'm like, I felt it was cheesy. So then we stopped watching that, whatever. And then the next day we're watching, out of all fucking movies, we're watching The Rundown with The Rock, right?
Wow.
Just random, right? Just random.
I know where
movie.
you're going with this.
And then I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, and I look at my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law goes, yo, does it look weird to you too? Like I asked him, I'm like, does it look weird to you too? And he goes, yeah, there's a lot of green screen. And I was like, no, I think it's fucking weird. So then I remember that my brother, it's my brother-in-law's TV. It's a massive, like 80-inch screen TV. He still has that motion bullshit that fucking TVs come with. He still had that on. You know what I'm talking about? I forget. Every TV brand calls it a different something. Some call it Cinescope. Some call it motion, whatever the fuck they call it. Every TV calls it something different.
It's just motion blur. It's just blur. Turn that shit off. It's terrible.
Yeah,
everybody hates it.
It's fucking terrible. It's actually good for live sports. If you're watching live sports, that's when it's good because the fucking players are running really fast, and you want to be able to fucking speed it. So, anyways, other than that, for movies, it's hot garbage. But I didn't know that fucking thing was on. So until we were watching The Rundown, which came out like in 2002. Like, it's fucking weird that it just came out. And then I turned it off, and it looked infinitely better, right, for The Rundown. And my wife goes, hey, do you think this had anything to do with the way we felt about Wonder Woman? And I go, dude, I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to be that fucking DC fanboy, like, trying to make excuses type of shit. So I didn't. So we should watch it again without, like, whatever. So in my mind, I'm gonna watch it at home. I told her, I go, I'm not gonna watch it here because this TV can't be trusted no more. I can't trust this fucking TV. So I'm gonna watch it at home.
TV can't be trusted.
No, because it looked like it's Mike. Like, we put on other movies just to experiment, and we put on The Force Awakens.
I'm sure you're right. That shit sucks. I hate it. I hate motion blur. I've had to turn it off on everything.
And then some TVs, even when you turn it off, it still doesn't look quite right. It's still fucking off, right, depending on the brand. And I'm not one of these guys that's like, I'm not paid to say this, but I have found, like, I had, when my TV broke like 2 years ago, I got myself a Samsung that was like super clear and super, and I wasn't having fun with it, and I returned it 3 days later because I was like, yo, I should be in love with my TV, and I'm fucking not. And right, so I returned it, and I got a Sony, and it works. So for me, for my preference, it's Sony. So I told her, like, I don't want to watch Wonder Woman 84 on this TV again, even with the motion capture off. It still doesn't feel right. So I'm going to watch it at home on my TV. Because that's the only part that I didn't like about the movie. I enjoyed the fuck out of the story. I thought the story was great. I thought the acting was fantastic. And the only part that I didn't like were the action sequences because of that. So once I get to watch it,
man, I gotta interrupt you. You cannot just breeze past some of the shittiest fight choreography. I watched it on 4K display on this very screen, this new computer I got, and it was the action sequence with the thing.
What thing? Fucking use your words, Mike. Use your fucking words.
Give me a second, and I will, because what you just said is insanely wrong. There's
you can't say wait.
What's wrong with that fucking movie?
You can't wait. Hold on. Stop, Mike. Stop. You can't. We can't start off a conversation with what you said you feel about a movie is wrong. You can't say that. We've gotten past that. We've done Fantastic Four. We've gotten past things like your opinion is wrong. You and I have gotten past that.
I'm not saying your opinion is wrong. I'm saying that whether I'm going to disagree with your opinion.
No, but that's not what you said. You said that's wrong. What you said is you literally said it's insanely wrong.
It's insanely wrong in my opinion. So if you're making, all right, here let's do this. Here. If you say something that is obviously an opinion, then I can disagree with it without obviously stating that my disagreement is an opinion. Because you can't just say, oh, no, there's nothing else wrong with the movie. It's trash. Because in my opinion, there's that whole fight scene in the desert where she's got those armored trucks. None of it makes any fucking sense because the like momentum of everything is super like wrong. They can hear each other through the fucking speeding wind. None of it like that's the thing. The whole movie feels like they honestly, every shot of her flying through the air and then landing and then doing all this stuff, she looks like she's doing the fucking robot. She looks like she's like, and then they were trying to like, I feel like we're trying to do the same thing as the Mandalorian where they were like, oh, we'll just shoot the green screen behind her and put it in or whatever it was that they were going to do. Because they did that with Kristen Wiig was great as acting. I thought she did like some of the best work. And Pedro Pascal, they were like chewing that scenery up, man. They were eating that garbage script up. But the Gal Gadot is she just can't be that emotive. She just doesn't have it. She's like, there's something missing in the performance, and they did not catch it, regardless of motion blur or not. So it's like the performances were bad, and then the story was. And I said this before. I've said that, like all I can think about is that the only superpower being used in this movie is wishes. Wishes, and then like they're like, oh, I guess we don't have to explain anything, and then. Yeah, I know we're dealing with magic and all stuff, but like if they set up like she turns the jet invisible. All right, man. Sure. I guess that's how you do it. Sure.
Dude, I thought that was fucking awesome.
You shouldn't have to.
I thought that was fucking awesome. When that happened, I was like, oh shit, they're giving us the invisible jet. That's fucking amazing. I was super happy with that.
I love the invisible jet. I'm not opposed to the invisible jet, but they didn't earn anything in this movie. At no point did they like, it's like, oh, she can do this now. Oh, the lasso can do this now. Oh, I can throw a lasso up to a 740 fucking 7 and start flying through the air for no fucking reason. Also, I have an armor with wings, but I'm not going to use it because I'm going to just glide on the air because Steve taught me. Also, that wasn't Steve. That was Steve in some random dude's body who didn't have any say over whether or not he was going to be possessed. It's wild. This movie is wildly.
I thought everything you're saying, I'm on board with. I'm like, no, that sounds good. I'm on good with that. I'm on good with that.
That's the thing is that you are much more apologetic for DC stuff than you are for anything else.
That's not true. That's not true. I enjoy other movies the same way. Other movies where other people would nitpick certain things. I'm like, well, I'm fine with that too. I'm like, I don't know.
I'm fine with that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, we just did on my podcast Guardians of the Galaxy, right? The fucking
way to plug. Way to throw in a plug.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to Mike Contextualizes the Universe on the Apple Podcast. But the thing is that everything in that movie, from the second everything is like Chekhov's gun. Like, you set it up in the beginning and then you have to use it at the end, right? This movie is literally just them showing a gun and firing it. Like just literally pulling a new gun, firing a bullet, throwing the gun, pulling a new gun, firing a bullet, throwing. Because at a certain point you're like, what? Why is this? How is this any of this possible? It's like, because they set up the wizard, which all of that final scene with the satellite particles touching people or whatever is nonsense. And then literally that whole last exchange was straight out of Bruce Almighty, when Bruce Almighty just clicks yes on all of the prayers, and then everybody gets what they prayed for. This is that. This is the same movie. It's the same exact.
You didn't like Bruce Almighty?
Sequence. Huh?
You didn't like Bruce Almighty?
It's fine. It's fine.
Did you go on podcast and rant about how bad Bruce Almighty was?
No, but I'll tell you this: they did a lot more work setting up Bruce Almighty being able to answer prayers on a computer than they did with Wonder Woman being able to just fucking glide. Like, just give her the power to fly.
She did.
Like, why didn't they just?
But that was the
no. But like, don't try to explain like show it that whatever the force was that she used to turn things invisible. Then she's just Sue Storm. You know what I mean? Like, because there's just so much of this movie that was like, we were just sitting around like. Also, like Gal Gadot saving all of the tropes about like Malaysian terrorists and stuff, and then she saves these Palestinian kids when she's like an IDF Israeli supporter. Like there's a lot more problematic stuff she said in the past as a person, but then also the whole thing of like when she saves those kids, they're fucking mannequins. Like, you can clearly see they're mannequins. Like, for like an uncomfortable amount of time, they're on screen as mannequins. Like, they don't edit it out. They didn't CG it a little. Maybe the arm moves as they land. And also, every time she picks up someone from the ground with the lasso or whatever, their neck would snap clean off because she literally just clotheslines the kids as she picks them up. I'm like, is it just sloppy? Like, it was just sloppy.
I like the fact
that the kind of shit that I've seen better on YouTube.
I like the fact that you are very science based, and you're like, and then another thing, you're like the Big Bang guys. We're like, Lois Lane would be chopped off when Superman saved her,
right?
And she and that's your issue with Superman. You're like, oh, okay, Missy. What were your thoughts?
I had a good time. I feel like this was a good movie. I understand the problems. I respect everybody's opinions. Please don't shoot. It's more of a public service, not for the people that are watching, not for anyone that's on the panel. I feel like being that it's a superhero movie, we need to kind of set logic aside and that kind of reasoning aside. That's my opinion. That's what I think.
I understand what you're saying, but can you? I want to ask a question. You set logic aside, right? So you can believe magical things. I I am a person who, if you set it up right in the story, I will believe whatever you say. They didn't do any of that. They didn't set anything up, man. They just literally like, this is what's happening now. And then it kind of like...
But isn't that what's setting things up? What do you mean by setting things up?
The fucking like flying part. The flying part was just laughable. Where I was like, oh, she like, because I thought, okay, she throws the lasso can shoot out, like, you know, and she can grab onto lightning and whatever, you know, like, yeah, sure, that's a super cool lasso. But they incrementally just made everything more like outlandish, without like explaining, like, they just talked about how she had her powers taken away and she was like hurting and she was like being able to get shot and all that stuff. And then now she's just like, oh, I can fly. Also, it's like, did you lose is this a new power? Like,
no,
the flying is at the very end.
Yeah, the flying was at the end when she already got her powers back because she recanted her wish. I thought that was made pretty clear.
I wish to have seen this movie.
Yeah, that's a joke that everybody on Twitter made a billion times already.
Well, I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
This movie sucks, man.
All right, well, we moved on from you, and I was asking Missy her opinion, and then you interrupted her opinion to say your opinion's wrong, and I fucking hate it. And I'm like, Jesus, let her talk. No, give her piece to speak.
I
asked a question, and then it started this other tangent with you. Okay. But what I'm asking is, so when you set aside logic, I'm not talking about the real world logic. I'm talking about the in fiction storytelling setting things. You thought that there was. Why does Barbara, whatever Kristen Wiig's character, ask to become an apex predator? The words. Why does that come out?
I'm not sure. She did have a.
Where did she want to be turned into an animal?
She did have a stuffed. I'm assuming it was a leopard or jaguar, whatever the fuck she is, cheetah. She did have a stuffed cheetah in her office. I guess that that was in the office. I don't know if she was into animals, and she does study a bunch of other shit. She has a bunch of PhDs and whatever, and one of them was on animals. So what I mean, as far as movie wise,
one of them was on animals.
Yeah, there was a bunch of
shit. She was like the gem person.
Yeah, but she has like a bunch of PhDs. That's why, like, she was saying it like when she said like the whole thing, like, I have a PhD and blah, blah, and like she was like mumbling all the fucking rambling on, and but she has a
to
cheetah.
Be fair, I was asking Missy, but you said you accused me of interrupting her.
Well, this experiment didn't work out. This going live didn't work out, so.
Anyway, so he already answered, so there's no point in me answering. I really enjoyed this movie. I understand what all the issues are. Jeff, who's watching, or he was watching, I don't know if he's still watching, but Jeff's issue, which I think, to be fair, and I told him this, so he can't get mad, but his issue is, how did they fly to the Middle East and never stop to fill up gas? To which I said, no one has ever watched a Fast and the Furious movie and gone, hey, do they ever take the cars in for a checkup? Like, just fucking watch the movie. Who fucking cares about that kind of detail? It doesn't matter to me. Now,
also, may I add, for the gas thing, just because we, the viewer, didn't see them put gas in, like, how boring of a fucking movie plot would that be? Like, hold on, we got a fucking like, I'm bored as fuck when I'm at the airport and they're fucking refueling my plane. I'm like, oh my God, get over it already. Like, I don't want to see that on the screen.
I think sentiment is, from those who did not enjoy this movie, is that they would have preferred to watch a scene where they stop to pump gas over the scene where they go to Egypt. I think that's the general consensus, if I'm not mistaken. As
someone who did find a fault with that, the point of it is that the plane isn't magical. The plane is just a plane.
Well, like, so there's certain.
But then why? So my question is, here's the thing.
Bring up gas.
No, but what I'm saying is that
and then they do it.
They stole a fighter jet from a base, right? They can't just land to fill up gas. Like it's got like they made these invisible and all that stuff, but like the whole point of it, like the whole idea of it, it just feels like they had a big, like a big thing of like 3x5 index cards, and then they're like invisible jet, and they handed it to one guy, and then the lasso does stuff here, and how did that Max Lord guy even know that the rock granted wishes? He didn't know that shit. Well, what I'm saying is,
yeah, he did. He knew that. He went there for that reason.
How?
He went there. What do you mean how? We gotta know the backstory of him doing research. Like he from the beginning he knew. Like he went there and he gave that big donation specifically to go take a look around because he knew that stone was in the jewelry store. He's the one that set up the heist for that jewelry store in the beginning of the movie. So when that jewelry store got when it got busted and that the heist got busted, and the newspaper in the we see the newspaper say, and we hear the news say that those jewels have been now there was some rare artifacts in that heist, and they have been given to the Smithsonian. So he knew that those stones were at that jewelry store. He set up the heist. The heist went bust. He saw, okay, they donated those stones to the Smithsonian. So now
he goes to the. But did he know they were magical, or that they were just worth something? Like, did he know the magic of it?
He knew.
How? Who told him?
Who the fuck cares? He did a fucking research. He did a Google search on it. He went through a library and went through fucking microfiche. Who gives a shit? He did. I said the microfiche joke.
I don't know.
I did the microfiche joke. I got it.
I didn't like it.
That's. I mean, again, this is beyond nitpicking now. How did he know? We gotta watch him fucking find out. This is the beginning of the movie where he obviously already knows. Like we gotta like.
Excuse me. Can I say something that Stephanie Meyer Senior said?
Can you put it on the screen? Are you able to put it on the screen? What she said?
I can't. No.
Oh, that's only me.
She said, I will agree with Mike. There it is. I will agree with Mike that if a movie is set in our world, that it has to adhere to our rules for the most part, powers being the asterisk. So I guess, sure. I mean, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all.
I don't agree with that. I feel like if it's a movie, there should it doesn't have to agree. It doesn't have to be our rules. It's a movie. It's a fictional land where a rope forces people to tell the truth. Like, come on, like let
this
me
is
live.
and this is and this is like the equivalent to me. This is the
explain it in the story.
This is the equivalent to me is when Guardians of the Galaxy came out and people were bitching and complaining about how did Star-Lord keep getting AA batteries for his Walkman for 20 years. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, people literally complained about that. People literally would say that. And then James Gunn, it's funny because I had the same thought, and then later on in an interview I saw James Gunn have the same response. He's like, we're dealing in a world with fucking aliens and lasers and phasers, and your big complaint is about like fucking AA batteries. That's where your question is. Like, I think these other planets and worlds have other power sources that are equal to, if not better than AA batteries. But that was never an issue to me. Like, watching the movie, people really got upset with it. And I was like, this is stupid, nitpicky shit.
But that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, in the sense of that we are not in a world where AA batteries are the only way to get power. We're not in a world where you have to do what the Earth says. Once you leave Earth, man, whatever. There's and you just have to drop a line. It's like, yeah, but they actually use the word batteries for some other stuff. Like, it's a common thing that they need to store energy. Like, it's like the concepts have to be at the very least relevant, or at the very least brought up at some point as a way of because we've had the conversation before where they're just like, oh, it's this. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, it wasn't
from an aviation museum.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Get your fucking facts right, bro. Way to go. You tell them, Olivia.
Yeah. Tell the movie to get the facts right first, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, I feel bad for Kristen Wiig. She did great. I
thought she did great. That Pedro Pascal was fantastic. Awesome. He's been killing it the last couple of years, man. He's been crushing it. Yeah. So I'm fucking happy for him.
He was in the pilot for the Wonder Woman TV show. And it didn't register to him that he was in Wonder Woman the movie until afterwards. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's right, I did do that Wonder Woman TV show with Adrian Palicki."
Yeah, that was hot. Did you ever watch that?
They never released it.
Yeah,
it was a pilot episode that never went to air.
Mike, I'm very surprised at you. I'm very surprised. You, out of all people, the internet has this. The internet has 30 minutes of this fucking footage. where
I didn't watch it.
Like
no.
it was, but like it's so hot garbage. Like people. First of all, she's the CEO of a corporation, but people know that Diana is Wonder Woman. So she goes out on the street and fights crime.
She's out of the superhero.
Yeah,
closet?
she fights crime as a superhero, but then changes clothes in her office because she has to be the CEO of a company, and then she has a small apartment somewhere else where she changes clothes as the CEO of. It's a fucking very weird thing.
This is the story of the what. I read that he was like she was. So from what I understood is that the show was that she had this corporation, Diana Themyscira was her name in the show, I think. And then she had this corporation to fund her crime fighting activities, like very Bruce Wayne-ish,
But out in the open. But out in the open.
The FBI.
But out
I
in
didn't
the
know that part.
It's out in the open. Like people know that Diana is like it's out in the open. So why even change hair
So
color?
what does that matter?
It's
Iron
like
Man
the boys.
does it.
It's like the boys. They know. They're like, oh, she's
Dude,
industries.
how great is The Boys, man? Holy fuck! How great is that show?
Have we not talked about it? I love that fucking show.
I haven't even watched. I haven't watched season 2 because I'm waiting for my wife to finish. Like now that I've been home for the last 10 months, like we have to watch everything together. Not everything. We ask each other, "Hey, do you care about this? Do you care about that?" Like she was like, "Do you?" I told you the story that where she was like, do you care about watching Emily in Paris? And I go, "Oh man, I'm dying to watch it." Yeah. And when I said that, she's like, "Oh fuck you!" Like she got so mad because she was just asking to be polite because she didn't want it. You know what I mean? She didn't want to wait to watch it. And so then after like 2 or 3 days, I finally came clean. I was like, "I don't care. You can watch the fucking show. I really don't care." And she ended up watching the show without me. So now I have to wait to watch season 2 of The Boys. But fuck it, I love that show so much.
It's fucking great. It really is.
But I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Somebody throw Jeff's comment up, please. The last comment he posted, I can't figure out how to do it. Did Wonder Woman just
decide to dress up?
Did Wonder Woman just decide to dress up that day at the mall and have a walk around the city saving people? Everyone acted shocked that some mystery woman saved the day.
He meant saved the day.
I mean, that part.
You see, like all of this is nitpicky shit. This is on the same level of how did Pedro Pascal know about? Like he fucking knew. He just knew. I don't need this information. Sure. Like was she at the mall dressed up? Like she was clearly going around the city saving people. She saved that fucking bride who clearly got fucking pushed on purpose. Like let's be fucking real. Go back and watch that. That bride wasn't just nudged or put. Like the fucking guy extended his hands. Like why are you doing that? Like why? That's not bumping a bride. He fucking threw her off the bridge, which I'm convinced her husband hired her. Like, hey, fucking yeah. Mm-hmm. So she was flying around the city, obviously, or swinging around the city, fucking saving people, and she ended up at the mall. That to me, I thought that was obvious, but I guess there needs to be an explanation for that as well. Like, what were you doing there? What's your point of view? Jesus Christ.
I think the reason why it feels nitpicky to some and not to others is because it reminds me of like the uncanny valley where when you have an artificial character, it starts to look really real. Like you're like, holy shit, look how real it looks. But then it gets to a point where it's so real that you have like a disgust, where you're like, ugh, let's look at like it's like like some people felt it on the Mandalorian spoiler alert finale. When you get
wait, let's talk about the fucking. Let's talk about the. Can we talk about the Mandalorian, Missy? You haven't seen it? Are you planning on watching it?
No, I am.
All right, so we can't spoil it. But how fucking great was that?
I know who shows up at the end just because the internet, but
it got ruined for me that morning. Friday morning, I was getting ready to go to work. I pull up my phone. And then I had a Twitter notification, and then I looked at Twitter, and then the first thing that pops up was like, Luke Skywalker trending, and I was like, shit, man, I didn't even have like a minute to wake up, and it's already spoiled.
Oh man, I woke up, and like I woke up and I look at my messages, and on the thread with myself, Jeff, and David and the Bono, which is the Geek Mode thread. Jeff was like, Dave, you need to watch Mandalorian last episode right now. Which I get it, right? They're like lifelong. Both of them, all three of those guys are lifelong Star Wars fans. I didn't become a Star Wars fan until Force Awakens.
Later, yeah.
So I get it. I understand. But when I wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning and I fucking look over at my phone and my one friend is telling the other friend, you gotta watch The Mandalorian. You're gonna fucking love it. And I'm like, what am I, fucking chopped liver? I'm not gonna love it? You can't fucking say, hey, you guys, all of you in this fucking thread, I gotta be singled out? Like, what the fuck?
Using the royal you.
Yeah.
Using the royal you. You guys, you.
So then he said,
you need to see.
I read that message 2 hours after he sent it because that's when I woke up. And this was clearly after my kids were already in North Carolina, so I didn't have to fucking wake up early for anybody. And then and then everybody was.
So you watched both seasons already?
Yeah, I watched both seasons.
Like you and Mary?
Yeah, I finished watching. Missy and I started season 1, and neither one of us were like really thrilled about the first 4 episodes. We're like, I don't really like. We kind of looked at each other and we kind of said the same thing. We've done it a few times with a few different projects where one would look at the other and be like, am I wrong for saying? And like, oh fuck, thank God you said this. Like, all right. And me and her, we saw the first 4 episodes. We saw the
Angels.
The whatchamacallit movie, the Harley Quinn movie. So we
Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
I liked that movie.
Yeah.
Like, it boggles my mind how you could like that movie and not Wonder Woman 84 to me, to be honest with you. But I don't want to digress. So we're watching Mandalorian season 1. We saw the first 4 episodes and we kind of just got with it. We're like, okay with it. And then we moved on. Neither one of us. But then I did a trivia at the Improv. I was doing a Star Wars trivia where I was like, I can't, and I write my own questions. I don't fucking Google questions. I don't do that type of shit. At most, I'll ask like if it's a topic that I'm really not familiar with and I only have a week to prepare for each topic, I'll ask friends like, hey, can you guys throw some questions at me? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And in all good conscience, I could not do a trivia for Star Wars and not finish watching Mandalorian season 1. Because that's all that was available at that time. Season 2 hadn't been up yet. So I finished watching season 1. Man, Missy, we stopped watching at the wrong time because right when we stopped watching is when it fucking picks up. It is fantastic after that, and you know,
I intend to watch it this weekend.
And then the comedian that pops up on the second to last episode of season 1, and I'm like, like I freaked out. I had no idea he had anything to do with that. So I was, whatever. So then when season 2 came up, I've been watching them, but I'll watch like every 2 whenever they have 2 or 3 episodes in the bank. I don't like watching week to week. That to me is like, what fucking year is this? What year is this?
I like it.
I think it's the stupidest. I think it's fucking for dum-dums. I tell the show to go kick rocks. And this is every show.
Easy, buddy. You just talked a whole bunch of shit about people insulting opinions and
I don't think you're stupid for it. I don't think you're stupid. I don't think you're stupid. I don't think you're stupid. I think the idea, the fucking networks forcing us to watch week to week is stupid. I think that's stupid. I think it's fucking. I think when I say for dum-dums, I don't mean that. I mean the whole idea is dumb. Like, it's just, we're in fucking 2020. Give me the whole fucking show and let me binge watch it. It's on a streaming site, for God's sake. That's how fucking streaming sites were founded, by Netflix, to say, hey, here's the whole fucking show. Watch it at your leisure. Watch it all in one dose if you want to or not. Fucking that you are the one in charge. And I find it dumb.
Somebody look, pull up Jeff's comment.
What?
He said not everyone needs instant gratification. Yeah, well, some of us do. I don't give a fuck. Call me a big baby. Name call. That's how fucking dirty that is.
That's the point. What this is saying is 100% the point, because when because I think Stranger Things and The Mandalorian kind of started at the same time, or were dropped at the same time, or started, or whatever. Some show on Netflix. I can't remember what show it was. I thought it was. I'm remembering it as Stranger Things, but whatever it was, there was some show that hit Netflix, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, the Netflix show," and then stopped talking about it. And then Baby Yoda was around for a while. every week there was new memes and new stuff coming out because Baby Yoda would do something cute, or the Mandalorian would shoot somebody in a cool way, or whatever. The fact that things are coming out week to week, it's providing a more in terms of like a PR or marketing thing, not PR, but like a promotional kind of marketing thing. Every week there's a new thing to talk about. And then it gives everyone a chance to speculate and talk about what's going to happen and what's going to happen, what's going to happen. The water cooler element of TV.
Yeah, but the water cooler element is no longer a thing because now that's just spoil shit. The water cooler was a thing back in the days when there actually was a water cooler and there was like we're not, especially in 2020, we're not doing water coolers. Everybody's working from home. Everybody's working from home. Is what I'm saying.
Social media is a big water cooler.
But it's a big spoiler. It's like when you go to work and you have that quote unquote water cooler moment or like a lunch break or break room, whatever you want to call it. You could walk away from that conversation and be like, "Oh, you guys talking about Mandalorian? Never mind." But when social media bombards you, Mike, it got ruined for you on Twitter. Yeah. It got ruined for you. Like, hey, whatever, blah blah. Like to me, I'm like, just give me all of that shit. I got kind of disappointed with. That's why I haven't watched it. Not why, but one of the reasons why I haven't watched season 2 of The Boys, because season 1 I watched in a fucking day. And I'm like, this is great. Give me more of this. And they're like, good. We're now going to give you little droplets like a hamster. I'm like, boy.
Well, they released The Boys season 1. You just caught it late.
No, they released. You know what I mean? No. They released season 1 all at once. And I watched it that very first day. There was no being late on The Boys. I watched it the fucking day it was released, and I tweeted Seth. I tweeted Seth Rogen that next day, and he fucking liked my tweet. So we're basically best friends now. So all of that. But season 2 is the one where they were like, no,
we're dating Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, well, she liked and retweeted one of my tweets. Clearly, we're dating, guys. That's a fucking clear thing. That's obvious.
Serious, man.
It's pretty serious that we're dating.
It's getting that's one step closer to Facebook official. It's very close.
But I love The Mandalorian, dude. I won't go into it more because Missy hasn't seen it. I didn't know you wanted to watch it, Missy, but fuck, it is so good. It is really good. We stopped watching at the wrong time.
Here's the thing about what I will say about the weekly stuff. I prefer it. Because it does give you the option, like you can watch it later, but it does give those people who want to watch it weekly and you get to talk about it before anyone else. You're the first person to see, because it used to be that if you had a show that was on like prime time, 8 o'clock or whatever, must see TV. That's why they called it must see. You watched it at night. Otherwise, someone will have to you have to watch it when in reruns, or you have to watch it when it comes out on DVD, or before then. You just never saw it.
You missed it. You missed it, bro.
You just missed it. So the only way you had to experience an episode of TV, if you missed it, you're like, oh my God, did you see when Stephanie Tanner drove the cement truck through the house or whatever the fuck it was?
It was a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Cement truck.
Cement truck one too, I think.
The cement truck was later. The cement truck came later in the series. Yeah, because it was the episode where DJ was trying to secretly make out with her boyfriend. So they went into a cement truck and they pushed the thing and it went in and Joey was meditating. Right. Realized that there was cement baby porn on.
And that had nothing to do with Stephanie.
If you missed it, you missed it. If you missed it, you missed it. You were like, you would go to the water cooler the next day and be like, oh my God, tell me what happened. And like, the funniest thing with the Joey and the meditating. You didn't notice.
Quick question. We were all kids when that show came out, Full House. Do you think there were actual adults at the water cooler in the late 80s, early or the 90s, literally talking about Full House? Like, do you think that actually happened?
I don't know about kids.
No, like adults. They had to be adults, right? Because we were kids. We were kids. So the adults of that day, did they go, the 35-year-olds in 1990, whatever the fuck show came when that episode dropped, do you think the next day they were at the water cooler like, bro, it's fucking cement truck. Can you believe this shit?
About Full House?
Yeah, about Full House.
But there's definitely a contingent of people who were talking about like, what were I don't even remember like the adult shows, the quote unquote adult shows.
X-Files?
Can you read what Olivia wrote?
Xbox is
That's
a big
way
thing.
too much and way too small. My blind
They
ass
have to
can't.
do it that way for the Mandalorian. Imagine if all the surprises that happened in season 2 were all released at the same time. It would be complete. It would completely force the viewers into a tailspin of geekgasm that it would take away from the other awesome things that happened. Good point too. It's like spacing things out. You know?
I don't agree.
That's why they can keep talking.
I don't
still talking about it. Honestly,
I don't agree with that specifically, but I do acknowledge that because they had to spread it out because they're announcing a new show at the end. Specifically with Mandalorian 2, they're announcing a new show at the end. Like, this is not a spoiler. This is just already known information. So you can't really do that if you release it all in one day, because then that news gets thrown off, and then they have like that D23 shit that they have. So like for them, it's a whole
the investor announcement.
It's a whole campaign thing. What did she write?
That's that exactly, and we have time to take in all the information that was setting up the other shows.
Yeah, I genuinely think that's like, man, because there was a summer of Stranger Things where like the second season or the third or something like that. And if they had released it weekly, it would have lasted all summer, and it would have given more people a chance to catch up with it and to watch it live like everybody. You know, like when you catch up with a show that's airing and then they're about to draw.
I literally do that. I literally do that.
Yeah.
I did it with Game of Thrones, actually, with like the first 5 seasons I didn't watch. I was behind the first 5 seasons. I didn't. Yeah. I do it with the Goldbergs, and Missy gets mad at me, so I watched the Goldbergs. Not that I was late. Me and my wife started watching it when it first aired, and then life got in the way. And then like 4 seasons later, I'm like, oh, I should go back and watch the show. So I fucking catch up 4 seasons, and now every time they play an episode, Missy's like, did you watch it? I'm like, I'm just gonna wait and just, I don't know. I like binge watching, dude. That's what I'm into now. I just even when it's only just maybe just a handful of episodes. Like with The Mandalorian, I watched every 2 or 3 episodes. So I didn't necessarily binge watch the entire season 2, but every time there was a new episode, I was like, I'll just wait till next week and then just catch up and blah blah blah. And I was for the most part, I was pretty much caught up. I watched the last episode the day it came out, but I also watched the episode before that same day. So I did that kind of shit. What did Missy write?
Yeah, because you're not a dum-dum, you know? You don't want to be labeled as a dum-dum.
Portion of Mandalorian season 2 was essentially backdoor pilots. That is correct. No, I don't want to fall for what the dum-dums at the executives at the network make me do. I don't want to do that shit. I fucking watch it on my own time. I'm a fucking grown-ass man, dog. So the Mandalorian.
Can we do it?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you're
not done. Go ahead.
If with a delay, if you start talking, just keep talking, because we're going to be talking over each other forever.
Can we do an Am I the Asshole, the one you sent today, Mike?
Am I the asshole? Man,
Yeah.
All right, to the listener, to the watcher, if you're viewing this and you haven't listened to a WuBro in a while, we do a new segment called Am I the Asshole, where we get a Am I the Asshole from either Reddit or Twitter, and that's basically where people go on and confess these crazy stories, and then we read them back, and we go around the table talking about who we think the asshole is. There's some pretty wild stories out there.
I would like for us to do today's, and if it's possible, the Jar Jar Binks girlfriend, please. We need to discuss both.
Did we not do that one? We
did not do Jar Jar Binks girlfriend.
Okay. Well, I have this one up, so let's do this one. This one's a relationship advice one. My 24 female boyfriend, 27 male, will not stop calling his cum Gregnog during Christmas time.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
First off, I'm reading. First off, I am not joking. I wish I was joking. I've been with my wonderful boyfriend Greg for over 4 years now, and this Christmas was our 3rd spent together. He's so much fun to be around, handsome, charming, and our sex life is great, except for one small problem. Every year now, starting in December, he starts referring to his cum as Gregnog. When I first heard him say this, it was in the context of a joke, so I laughed, and then I forgot about it. A few days after this, we're exchanging some spicy texts before he gets home from work. He says to me in all seriousness, "I can't wait to pour Gregnog all over your face." I could not believe He just said that to me, but I didn't know what else to do at the time but go along with it. Okay. Fast forward to this December, the phrase re-enters his vocabulary at the same time every year. It makes me cringe beyond belief, but up till this year, he used it sparingly enough for me to just be able to laugh and say, shut the fuck up. I'm sure that 2020 has done at least some irreparable psychic damage to all people, but unfortunately for my boyfriend Greg, this has manifested in the form of him referring to his cum as Gregnog nonstop. This month, he has been using the term almost exclusively in all contexts, and it is driving me batshit insane. I sat him down to talk last week, and I asked him very clearly and directly to stop. At the time, he said he would, and he did slow down for a few days, but it is now 4 days after Christmas, and he's back at it again with no end in sight. He absolutely means the world to me, and I saw myself spending the rest of my life with him. But I have serious doubts now whether or not I can if every Christmas is going to be like, so please, what do I do to make this stop for good? I'm afraid he's going to do it again next year.
First of all, as one of our viewers, Jeff, has mentioned, Greg Nog is fucking hilarious.
It's great. It's such a good pun.
And wait
24 more hours.
Well, yeah, if the Greg Nog spills over into January, then we got problems.
But here's the thing. First of all, I'm going to steal that, and I'm going to say Neri Nog from now on. I think that's a fantastic idea. I'm going to steal that.
It's that Greg has egg in it.
I get it. You don't think I fucking get the joke? You don't think I get? You don't think I know it's better? You don't think I want to go change my fucking name to Greg now just so I could be able to use that joke and then be better? Of course I do, Michael. Of course I do. But I got to work with what I have now.
Do you have jokes with your wife that your wife is like, fucking stop it right now?
You know, she would probably be the better person. She would probably be the better person to ask. I gotta be honest with you.
Because you don't pay attention to.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know if I don't know. I'm trying to remember of a joke. I know. I don't know if I have a recurring joke that it's the, you know what I mean? Like I don't have. In fact, I kind of tell her the same. I kind of tell her that thing. I'm like, hey, it's time for you to write. I tell her there are times where I'll be like, all right, we need to write new material, like some shit like that. Like to some version of that. I don't like doing the whole dad thing where it's like, hey, this is my one joke for 25 years. I'm not a big fan of that thing. I'm doing this because this is a physical thing that my father-in-law has done since before I met my wife. We've been together now almost 14 years, and this has been a thing since they were kids, apparently, where he was like, I don't know what the fuck it means. But
is he calling for the pitcher?
No, he does this thing where he holds his hand, and then it's kind of like saying, go fuck yourself or something like that, or fuck it, or something to that extent. But every time he does it, I'm just like, oh, whatever. And my dad's guilty of it too. My dad, whenever he wants to ask you, hey, do you want to get something to eat? He'll ask you to go. Hey, do you want to go to the 9th floor? Because we went on a cruise 20 years ago, and that's where the 9th floor was, where the buffet was. And so that's since then, for the last easily like 18, that's got to be 20 years, he's been, every time he wants to ask you, do you want to go something to eat, he'll ask you, do you get the 9th floor? So I just don't like doing the whole repetitive same joke shit. But this is funny, but this is in a seasonal. It's a seasonal fucking joke. Come on, man.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a seasonal joke.
So, Missy, if you were with a guy who, let's not say Greg Nog, let's just say he had like a funny name for him coming, right? Or even like a nickname for his dick or something like that, like some sort of like indirect thing. Yeah. I can't wait to tell you something for Greguary. Do you like? Would that even? How would that fly? Breaker? Or how would you react to that?
I think I would laugh, honestly, but I think that if it's a seasonal joke, what I have to deal with it for a month, and I'm sure if she wanted to have like a knockdown blow up fight about this, she she could tell him, like, you know, I'm gonna fucking with you, stop. And then she means it, like, if he believes her, he
She's
might
about
stop.
to. She just
Okay, then I
said.
think she.
Wow.
If you're asking, I feel like if you're asking Reddit, one foot's out the door.
Yeah.
But
That's a desperation
me,
move if I've
You know
ever-
what? Ladies in the comments,
For me, I don't. If you're
to the viewers, can you comment? No, you could keep talking. I'm just giving them a message to let us know what they think. Olivia, Stephanie Mayer Sr., comment. Let me know. Would you break up with a guy?
Olivia, I don't know. I wouldn't.
Yeah, you know, like that's the thing. This guy clearly, you know, I like how she gave him the out of the like, look, 2020 has been a rough year. I mean, 2020's been hard on all of us. We all cling to the things that make us comfortable, and he clings to Greg Nog.
Here's my question. Here's my question.
I think she clings to Greg Nog and he's doing it right.
No. Greg Nog clings to her.
It gets a low over the place. So here's.
Okay.
I wouldn't. Honestly, it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. I would laugh. If it really got to the point where it's obnoxious, then it would piss me off. The Jar Jar Binks.
Wait.
Which we'll get to.
That's another level.
Before we get there, because I don't know, to the listener, I don't know any of these stories. I kind of give them to Mike because I want to have this reaction live. So my question to you about the Greg Nog is this. First of all, if I told my wife, hey, I want to jizz in your face, there's no way I could say that. There's no way I could say that where she wouldn't be like, you're fucking gross and disgusting, and that's never going to happen. Like, that'll be her shutdown. But my question to this person is she offended that he said, I want to jizz on your face? Or is she offended that he used the phrase Greg Nog on your face?
She doesn't mention that he's doing it like in public. Like it sounds like it's a inside joke. I know that. Which she followed up that comment. Can you throw up her follow up comment?
She said wouldn't break up, but maybe tell him forcing him an allergy. Greg Nog.
To which she followed up with, she's correct.
Like here's the part of that. Like let's break it apart a little bit, because at a certain point, let's break it apart where he used that in a sexy way, like not a joking way. Like he's like, oh yeah, I'm curious. I would love to see the text to see if he's like just replaced the word cum or whatever with Greg Nog. Or if he was like,
that's funny.
Like, oh, I'm gonna get that nog up in you, or whatever. Some like, is it like a? Because she says that before it was like a little bit like joking around, but now is he like genuinely like into it? Like, is he genuinely like, this is my Greg Nog? You know, like I've named it after myself. It is my manliness. You know, like that sort of thing.
But it's still funny.
It's a seasonal joke.
But it's still funny, even if you did take it serious. That's my question.
It goes. It really does.
That's my question. If I want to know if she's offended at the statement of "I want to jizz in your face" in general, or if it's just the fact that it's Greg Nog.
That's not offensive.
I don't think so. Let me see. Where is that?
I think she's mad. She's mad from the context of what the 500 words she sent to the internet for advice. I think that she's pissed that he keeps on with it. I think the joke is the fact that the joke won't die is what's annoying her.
Well, I think she'll be fine. I don't know. This is hilarious, but it's a fucking joke. My opinion. She's the asshole.
She does say that they were exchanging spicy texts. So they were having like a little sex conversation, which if you ever read those out of context, they all sound gross. Like when you read them later on, you're like, ugh. You know, like
I've never met a guy who reads one of those messages from his girl and goes, ugh, girl. Like I've never met a guy.
No. I mean, like when you read what you wrote later, like the next day, because it's still in the chat history or whatever, like it's still there. You're like, oh my God, what did I say? I said that I want to what? Greg Nog. What?
Olivia said,
I'm going to pour it. That means I'm going to decant it into another vessel and then pour it like fucking maple syrup. What kind of visuals is this man using for his Greg Nog?
Olivia says that Greg Nog, the person she lives with, Greg Nog would be the least of her fucking worries. Like that apparently.
Oh, I'm worried for her.
Who she lives with.
I'm worried about this.
With and she's not wrong. She's not wrong. But just definitely. Here's the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cute
Pouring is Jeff says pouring is romantic. He's not jizzing on her. He's
That's all this does remind me of the David Tell bit. Do you remember that David Tell bit? It's like, you know, when we talked about eggnog, it's like we all know what eggnog. It's elf cum. You know, whatever. You know, he does that bit. I haven't.
You
might as well pour it on your back and smack yourself on the ass, like that kind of thing.
So what's all right? Last one before we finish. We're about to finish now. So last one. So she's the asshole. We all agree she's the asshole.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't know. That seems like we need more information as to what this guy's intents are.
No, it's seasonal. They've been dating. Wait, they've been dating 3 years, and she made it clear that it's every fucking December. She made that clear. And she wants to break up with him after the 3rd year because she can't see herself, because in the future she can't see herself marrying him because he has a fucking silly joke every December. Get the fuck out of it. You're the asshole. If you're going to break up with somebody for that, this is your 3rd year. You could have done it the 1st year and it would have been understandable. The 2nd year, the 3rd year, you're
mad, bro.
I just, you know, I'm calling her an asshole. You can't call her an asshole nicely. All right, go ahead. Next one.
I can't. Would you have it there in front of you?
I don't. Let me
I'm like going back in the chat and I can't find it.
I would like to say that. I would like to say that we're usually much more professional than this when we're not live, but we're not.
I know. Okay, I found it.
This is us. Love us.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because it was so from Twitter. Okay.
I've been dying for this one. I just want to put that. I'm so happy.
Okay. All right. He's 28-year-old male girlfriend, 27 female. Won't stop speaking in Gungan, and I'm losing my mind.
What the fuck?
In parentheses, he writes, together 5 years. Get ready, bro. Strap in. I won't do the TLDR. I'm going to read the whole thing. My girlfriend and I met in college 8 years ago and started dating a little over 5 years ago. 3 years. Wow. Okay. She has always been a huge Star Wars fan. She even has a Star Wars tattoo, not of Jar Jar, surprisingly. I like Star Wars enough, but I'm not a fanboy or anything, just a casual kind of fan. We dated long distance, and 2 years after we graduated, we moved in together. I'm military, and she relocated to be with me. Things were great. She worked part-time and took care of the house and pets. Things changed about a year ago. She was mad about the ending of the last Star Wars movie that came out and started getting back into the prequels.
Oh, Jeff is going to have a fucking field day. Oh, my God.
Watch, just let this wash over you, brother. She started quoting them sometimes, and it was kind of funny at first. Once COVID hit and we quarantined, it got more intense. She would quote Jar Jar a lot. It didn't matter to me because we weren't around anyone, and again, it was funny in small doses. I first realized there was a problem toward the end of spring. Her quoting Jar Jar got excessive. It was like she was trying to quote him in response to like everything. It was honestly a bit cringy. If she bumped into me, she'd say "excuse me," or if she dropped something, she'd go "Misa clumsy." If we left the house at all, she'd loudly yell, "So good being home!" Remember that? When she walked inside. One time when we were cuddling and stuff, she whispered in my ear in a Jar Jar voice, "Oh, moi moi, I love you." Instantly killed the mood. I regret not saying something then, but I figured she would stop eventually. I was wrong. In June, they lifted some restrictions and we started doing more stuff. I was promoted and had a small ceremony. My boss, a pretty... I just read that comment. My boss, a pretty high up officer, was there, and after the ceremony, I introduced him. She said to him, "You the bombad general." He chuckled awkwardly and left the conversation. I was so mad at her. We talked, and she said she would tone it down. She said she would tone it down. She did for a couple weeks and didn't do the Jar Jar talk as much. We have talked about getting married, and I had been wanting to propose for a while before the Gungan speak started, but with COVID, it kind of ruined my plan. July came, and I figured I would stop delaying, and I decided I would do it. We went for a hike together, and I started my speech about how I loved her, and she made me happy and everything, and asked her what she would think about us taking the next step. She just said, "Okie day." I stopped the proposal there. I feel bad because I blew up at her a little, but goddamn, she already ruined so many moments with her stupid Gungan talk. You would think after that fight, she might finally stop, but she didn't. Things were more or less normal for a few months. I just didn't try to bring her around anyone. Wow. Then I FaceTimed with my mom and brother a few days ago, and I think it was the final straw. My mom asked if we were planning on coming home for Christmas, and she literally said to my mother, "'Tis demanded by the gods it is." No one found it funny, but she was laughing hysterically. I ended the call soon after that and texted to our group chat to apologize. I told her she needed to cut it out once and for all. She said it was just part of who she was and is not a big deal. There are so many other examples I can't even list here, and these are just the biggest ones. She's always saying Misa and the Yusa about everything, and the Jar Jar memes, and just generally being annoying with her Gungan worship. So what should I do? I truly do love her, and she is great in a lot of ways, but I don't think I can take it anymore. How do I get her to stop?
All right.
TLDR, my girlfriend keeps talking like Jar Jar Binks around everyone I know, including my boss, and won't stop. I have told her that that it isn't funny anymore, and I'm at the end of my rope with her. I do love her in spite of it. How do I get her to stop?
All right, so before we keep going, we got to address the fucking comment that Stephanie Mayer Sr. God damn, I miss her. I miss her so much. She says, "Sir," she snapped, "Jar Jar is her Greg Nog gone too far."
Greg Nog gone too far.
And here's the thing. I agree with that. But if you told me, and this is kind of, they're very similar. The difference is Greg Nog is seasonal. And it's hey, deal with this shit for 30 fucking days, right? We can expect this after Thanksgiving, and we could expect it to end after New Year's. And Jar Jar is such a hated fucking character, even amongst, let me rephrase that, especially amongst the diehard Star Wars fans. That why would she pick this character of all? Like, if you said Yoda talk, okay, I mean, even that's a fucking annoying, but all right, like, but Jar Jar is such a bad character to fucking do, man.
Well, it's also like, it's very Misa gonna pour a Gregnog on your face, sir.
Fucking Jeff.
I love that if you cut that clip out of context, no one would know what the fuck is going on.
Well, that's the clip that I'm going to use to promote. That's the clip that I'm going to use to promote the episode.
Absolutely.
Here's your sign.
So I think it's because they're 28 and 27. So there would have been the right age to be kids when this came out. This is clearly her like having some sort of psychological thing where she's resorting to childlike behavior. You know what I mean? Like this sounds incredibly childlike. Where you used to mimic a superhero, or you mimic a TV show. You know, like, but to to an unhealthy level. I feel bad for the guy because I can only imagine like him being in the military, going to a military general, like a senior officer, and she's like doing fucking Jar Jar quotes. And then I love the way he described it. Like, oh, he just chuckled awkwardly and then left the conversation. Like, oh, okay. And it just kind of walked away.
Moon walked away.
Is it wrong that I desperately want to know what these people look like? Because that would make a difference.
Why?
That would make a difference, I think.
If it wasn't for the fact that he was in the military, I would say you know exactly what they look like. But the fact that he's in the military is now.
I don't want to make any kind of stereotypes about
Star Wars people.
There is genuine not about Star Wars people, but about those genetic nerds. Where these just nerdy
genetic nerds.
I'm serious.
That's the name of this episode. That's the title of this episode. Genetic nerds.
Genetic nerds. Where it's not about I'm sure there are plenty there's just some people that their default setting is nerd. And that's fine. It's just everyone has shit that they got to keep in check. The people whose default setting is jock and they have to keep that asshole thing in check. It's the same concept.
So who's the asshole here? That's the question. Who's the asshole here?
She's the asshole.
I don't think she's the asshole. I think she's unwell. I think that she needs, you know, like the other lady gave the boyfriend the other one was gave the benefit of the doubt. He's like, hey, COVID's been hard for everybody, you know. He's just leaning into this goofy thing. This is like, you know, she was under quarantine, you know, all these things are like rough. She moved to be with this guy who knows like what the home life situation is. But it's definitely like, but it's like, if she's doing it to fuck with him and then like doesn't get it, like he stopped mid. Yeah, that's 100% true.
Jar Jar's the asshole.
Yeah, Jar Jar is the asshole here. Man,
I gotta be honest with you. I agree with you. I agree with you, Mike. I think that she's having a mental breakdown, and this is how it's manifesting. But I think the mental breakdown is causing her to be the asshole. I mean, call it however you want to call it. Like, I don't know if it's not you, it's the pregnancy. The pregnancy's a bitch. That kind of fucking, 40-year-old, that kind of scenario. Like, it's not, you're not the asshole. The mental breakdown is the asshole. But the mental breakdown is causing her to act, go back to a childlike behavior that's causing her to be an asshole, in my opinion,
Yeah, as someone who has like mental health, is treated for mental health stuff, I'm not like it's not my fault that I have anxiety or whatever, but it is my responsibility. You know what I mean? Like
to manage it.
To manage it.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's my responsibility to keep my shit in check.
Stephanie Mayer Sr. with the fucking bullets, man. She said nerdiness is a pre-existing condition.
Sometimes it's congenital, man. Sometimes it's you've seen those nerd families, like multiple generations of nerd. The actor, good. Thank God. I love. So the actor for Jar Jar, now hosting a kids game show for Disney called the Jedi Challenge. I love it. He got so much shit afterward. Like he was depressed. They fucked it. Like it really fucked with his head that he was so hated because he was supposed to be like the new Chewbacca.
Dave Watson said Jar Jar doesn't have the best before date like Greg Nog. All right. Well,
I mean, best before a wedding proposal. Like don't do it. Like the guy's on one knee. Like cut it off for a second.
She ruined the engagement.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, she didn't know that she was ruining it. But definitely, whatever is going on, she needs to manage it, and it's obviously disruptive to the relationship.
For sure.
I don't think the answer is never how do I change my partner. The question should be more like help them or what can I do to help them. But
and he's not stuck. If he ends it, he ends it. Like it sucks that this is the thing. But if she that's the thing about like let's say you're with somebody who suddenly develops a drinking problem and becomes an alcoholic while you're there. If you can't be with that person, it doesn't matter what they were in the past. They are now addicted to Jar Jar, and that Jar Jar means more to them than you. You know what I mean? Like. Just because you were together doesn't mean you have to be together. Yeah. So I get it. I feel bad. For he's every right to be mad because it's like, hey, knock it the fuck off. Like Jar Jar, get it. Like, what are you doing?
The problem is that he knew her pre Jar Jar talk. Like if you meet somebody and that's how, hey, they do Jar Jar talk, like you have a choice, like to accept them or leave them right then and there. But the fact that
aren't we all pre Jar Jar talk? I mean. We never know. The Jar Jar disease could get us all someday. We're gonna be all.
Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called? Jar Jar knees? Is that what it's called? Jar Jar knees.
I don't know. Gungan knees. Gungan. He says Gungan.
Gungan knees. I think Gungan knees is fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you for checking us out. This is the first time we went live. We appreciate it. We're gonna release the episode audio version like normal on all the other podcast platforms. It'll obviously be released later because we're fucking live right now. With that said, Mike, tell the people where they could find you.
At Mike Mercadal on all social media, and you can listen to Mike Contextualizes the Universe anywhere. Mike Contextualizes with our Alex Murray on the Missing Sock Podcast Network. But also, I'm starting a new podcast with my Chris Kwan. Remember Chris?
I remember
Number
Chris.
one.
Number one.
Yeah.
Son of a
Chris and I
bitch.
are going to do a podcast as Cubans who have left Miami and are pissed that Cubans are only represented by Miami Trump people.
Oh.
So it's going to be called Oh the Cubanity, and it's going to be starting now in January, where we're going to like reclaim the Cuban identity and break it down for
right.
people so that there's not.
Well, he's a professional. He's a professional. He's a professional croqueta maker. So I'll listen to whatever the fuck he says.
He's an award winning.
That is correct. So Missy, you can check out Missy's writing at missywrites.com. And her handle, as you can see on the screen, if you can't see it, go back into follow us on Facebook, people. This is how you can see us live. This is how you can see the videos. Even if you're not watching us live, you can go back and watch the video live. So go and check out, as her handle says on the screen, is at Missy the Writer. So check that out and check out her writing. She's also on the other podcasts on the network, on the GeekBro network, such as Mount Geekmore. And speaking of which, listen to the other podcasts on the GeekBro network, including A Dose of Ellie, including Pero Let Me Tell You, the aforementioned Mount Geekmore with Jeff, who's been commenting the whole time. Thank you, Jeff, for staying with us and watching and commenting the whole time. And the other podcasts on there, such as oh man, the one with Mike Valdez, I always forget. Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez. So make sure you check that out. And the 305, the MIA podcast with Will Lopez will soon be up on the pod. I just got to fucking put it up. So thank you guys for checking us out. Go to geekbro.net. Check out the Helium Podcast Network at heliumpresents.com, because Mount Geekmore is featured there as well. So go there for Mount Geekmore and any other podcast that they have. They have the Ricky Cruz podcast, which is a fantastic podcast with Luis Diaz. So make sure you guys check out heliumpresents.com. All right, you guys have been great. We're going to be doing more live shit. Appreciate you. Love you guys. Thank you very much. That's how winning is done.